Hey guys. Hello. Happy Saturday to all my friends. I'm sitting outside. It's a beautiful day. Hop on, say hi. I'll watch the comments. I did kind of a impromptu live today just because I wanted to come on and talk about something I was thinking about. So I was driving. I can't remember where I was going. I was driving home from somewhere and I was thinking about just how much I love what I'm doing right now and how exciting it is to be in business and helping people and doing things, and all these thoughts were kind of like flying around in my brain. And so I was wanting to share that, and I tried to kind of put my thoughts together in an organized way, so we'll see if that works. But I was thinking about how it's possible to love your work and hate your job at the same time, and how these really aren't the same thing. And I was thinking about how for nurses, like how important it is for me to make sure that like nurses understand that like nursing and your job are not the same thing. Because I remember like thinking about my experience in corporate leadership and like how it was exciting and fun and soul sucking and draining, and how I built the most amazing relationships and solved all these big problems. But the problem I kept having was like how I saw things and how I wanted to do things felt wrong and felt like completely different from everybody else. And like I was surrounded by all these super smart, super professional people. And in some of my other content that I talk about this, I talk about them wearing suits. And I don't think it's really about the fact that they wore suits. I think it's really about the fact that I felt inadequate. Like I felt like the way I did things was not right. Like my view of things and my approach to things wasn't good enough or was wrong. And, they were using data and they had this strategy and they were so logical and they were like, using these metrics to like make decisions on which way to take the company. And I had this whole region of hospices under me. I had 30 hospice locations under me in Tennessee. And I just thought about things completely differently. I saw different problems than they saw. I didn't see like the problems that they were talking about didn't seem like what I would focus on. I was looking at totally different metrics and totally different things that seemed important to me. Now, some of it lined up too, but the way that I saw us moving forward with those things was not the same as what like the corporate strategy that they came up with. And so it felt like I just had this totally different perception of everything that was going on. And, I love all those things. I love data. I love strategy. I love metrics. I love understanding, like, the decision making process. And I love understanding leadership concepts and reading about leadership and being a better leader. I love all those. I just use them differently. I wanted them to like support how I felt about a decision. Like I was using intuition and my gut feelings and like critical thinking and big picture themes to make decisions, and then all pulling in the data and the strategy and the decision metrics to like support all of that, and not have that be the direction and the decision itself. So I was always doubting my skills, and I even like questioned whether I deserved to be in that role because of that, because I felt like I wasn't enough. Like I wasn't professional enough. I wasn't put together enough. I wasn't smart enough. I'm too emotional. I don't get it. I'm not strategic. Especially the men that I was surrounded with were like very logical and like just super smart, at decision making. And I didn't like a lot of their decisions, but I recognized that they had these characteristics that I just did not have at all. And I wasn't jealous of that per se, but I wanted to have that. I wanted to like feel like I was cut out for something. And so I ended up job hopping most of my career because I just was unhappy. I would get in there, I'd solve all these problems, I'd try and do the best I could. I'd get in there, I'd be super aggressive, I'd be fixing everything, and then I would just feel fried. And anytime anybody mentioned anything that I should do differently, I just took it super personally and got emotional and quit, right? And I lost my only real CEO job. You know, when I moved to Hawaii, I've told that story a bunch, but I felt like it was confirmation for me that I couldn't hack it, that I wasn't enough, and it literally felt like the biggest failure of my life. I've shared that pretty openly, that that was supposed to be my dream job. It was supposed to be the solution to all these problems I've had with all these jobs I've had, and it ended up being like the total opposite. And so it ended up feeling like it was confirmation that I was in the wrong place doing the wrong thing. And so I ended up feeling like completely lost, like I just lost myself as a leader and as a hospice expert and as a corporate executive. Like I just felt like totally validated that none of this had ever been for me, and I had no place. I just did not fit. And through that process though, and starting my own company and working with hospices individually from a totally different relationship where they're not necessarily an authority over me. I mean, they can still decide whether they continue working with me or not. They could fire me as a consultant and decide to do something totally different, but I wasn't their employee. So I didn't feel tied. I didn't have this constant conflict of feeling like I had to perform. I had to show up in a certain way. I had to know everything. I had to be on all the time. I didn't feel like I had to um, tell them what they wanted to hear, or else they wouldn't like me, or they would fire me, right? So I was in a totally different role now as a consultant with these hospices, and I found that I could still do the work I loved. I could still use my strengths. I could still use my nursing experience. I could still do all the things that brought me energy and joy, but not have this job that wasn't the right fit for me, that I hated, right? Even though that CEO job was my dream job, I hated every second of it. And I'm just being honest. I knew it wasn't the right fit, but I couldn't quit because I committed my whole family to it. I brought my whole family across the ocean, and I knew, like, I am not hacking it here. I just can't cut it. I know we are just built different, Jamie, but I think that a lot of nurses are, and I think a lot of nurses equate burnout with from being a nurse with their job, and it's not the same thing. I don't think we're burnout from nursing. I think we're burnout from a job that wasn't made for us, that we were never the right fit for, that we can't get under the structure of, because number one, of ethical conflicts, right, that we get put in as nurses, but also just corporate structures, and the way healthcare is now is not the same, and it's not built for nurses. And so I'm finally realizing, like, your work and your job are two totally different things, and you can love your work and hate your job at the same time, and just not be in the right fit. And so I think my intuition and my approach actually helped me grow my own business. The things that I felt like were hurting me in corporate, my emotional reactivity, my trusting my gut instead of using metrics, all these things helped me build relationships and really truly, like, personally connect with my clients and look at problems completely differently than anyone in their corporate structure in their company had before, because I felt like those people were all looking at the same things, right? Like I felt like I was never looking at measuring things the way everyone else was. And that actually is something that nursing has done for us. It's like our nursing superpower is that intuition that something's not right here, or I'm missing something, or I've got this data and I can make a decision on it, but I also need to consider, how do I feel? How are they telling me they feel? What's the data telling me about what's going to happen instead of what's actually happening? Like, I feel like our nursing process and our nursing education and our nursing experience has really, really formed us into this, like, super person where we can sense and see and feel things in situations that other people can't see and feel. Maybe that's just me, maybe it's a personality superpower, but I feel like when I'm thinking about these concepts that it's something that nursing did for me, because I don't necessarily think I had that before I became a nurse. And before I worked in hospice, before I worked in nursing, before I worked in leadership, I didn't have those skills. I think those were acquired through like learning how to take care of people and learning like how people respond in situations, and how do I want them to respond and how I want to respond. And so I think that, whether or not we get that validated at our job or whether we get a gold star, like something that's really important to me, and me and Jetty joke about this all the time, is that I need a gold star. I have to have it. I can't keep going without a gold star. If you don't give me my gold star, I'm done, right? And that's funny, but it's also like I need to have that validation that like I'm doing the right thing, I'm on the right track. I'm helping, I'm making a difference, I'm serving. Like service is such a big thing to nurses, and service is so important to who we are. This is exactly why I built Hospice Buddy, Jamie said. Yes, exactly. I wanted to help the way I felt called to. And as nurses, like this ethical fatigue of like not being able to do what we feel we need to do, because sometimes because of the job structure we're in or because of the rules or policies, we're afraid that we can't do what we need to do because we're going to get written up, or because we're going to, be fired for that because it's not the policy. Exactly. Exactly. So thank you for sharing that, Jamie. That's exactly, you're right on track with what I'm saying. And I feel like a lot of nurses feel that. I don't think it's just us. I think that a lot of nurses are under that pressure. And I think that we are really trying to do the right thing. We're trying to serve and show up for people, whether or not we're doing actual nursing skills. It's service. We want to serve. We want to show up and make a difference. We want to help people. We want to make an impact. And when we stop being able to do that inside of our job, we start feeling burnout, like we need to step back, we need to create distance, we need to step away. And I think we get that confused with what burnout actually means. Is it might not actually be burnout from nursing. It might just be burnout from a really crappy job situation, for lack of a better way to put it. But here's what's on my mind right now, and this is why I was sharing all this. I'm doing this free workshop for NNBA members on March 19th and 21st, and it's just a live training. It's how to grow or start or grow, start and scale your service-based business for nurses, right, or healthcare professionals. And so it's called From Nurse to CEO, 5 Steps to Start or Scale a 6-Figure Nurse Business. And it's a 75-minute training. I'm going to talk about getting clear on what you're doing, establishing credibility, getting clients, growing your cash flow, increasing revenue, and managing your own capacity. Again, it's free for NNBA members. It's $44 for non-members. And I'm going to put it up. I'm going to put it in the captions, and I'm also going to put it in the chat too. But I just wanted to share it. And I wanted to share it because I felt like so much of my own personal experience has been built around this confusion between hating my job, wanting to quit, and thinking that it was a reflection of my work and who I was. And it wasn't. It was never about that. It was always about me not being able to fit inside of something that wasn't really made for me at all. And so, jobs are not made for us. They're not tailored to nurses, and they're not meant to, you know, be this perfect fit. It's meant to serve a lot of purposes, but I don't think jobs were created for us to somehow serve us, other than just to go to work every day. And I think that there's more than that. And I want nurses to know that there's more than that, that work is meant for so much more. And I don't think there's anything wrong with a job. I'm not telling you it's wrong to have a job and you shouldn't be employed. Many people, that's all they're going to know their whole life, and there's nothing bad about that at all. And a lot of people, I'm so grateful, still get joy and energy from their job. They love going to work every day. They wake up, they go to work, they help people. They're so fulfilled by it. I know many nurses who wake up, go to work every day, serving their patients, doing the work, and love it and feel energized, and it's their life's work, it's their calling. But for those of us who seem like we're always out of place and who feel like no job could ever be enough, that's really what this training is for, and it's built around this conversation. It's not how to think like a corporate strategist and build this, huge company that turns into another job, right? The whole point is having a business that is not a job. So it's like trying to figure out change, you know, a job to how to leverage who you already are as a person, as a leader, how to lead and serve with intuition and building relationships, but then also like have a real framework to build and grow that on. So that's kind of why I wanted to do the training because I really could have benefited from something like this when I was trying to do this myself. I've had a lot of success in my business the last 2 years. I'm really really grateful for that. I've been in business for 6 years now, and the last 2 years have been really really successful. I have 7 employees and 5 contractors. I've grown a huge team. I'm taking on projects. I'm helping a lot of people. I'm the president of the NNBA, and I'm able to talk to so many nurses and help so many nurses. But because of that, I'm hearing these trends and I'm hearing these needs and I'm hearing about all this burnout and this struggle with jobs, and it hurts my heart, and I also it creates friction inside me because I want to like scream like, no, it's not the same thing. It's not nursing doing this to you. It's healthcare, right? It's your job. And that doesn't mean that all jobs are bad. I don't want to give that impression, but a lot of people search for the right job their whole lives and never find a job that they feel like is a great fit. So if you're looking for something more than a job, or if you feel like maybe this is a time where you need to step back from your job, or you want a side hustle, or you want something that's really going to fill your cup and give you energy, I think that this workshop, this Nurse to CEO 5 steps to start or scale a 6-figure nurse owned service based business, is really going to help you. I would love to have you on there. It's free for NNBA members and $44 for non members. So if you can be there, I'd love to see you there. Again, it is on March 19th at 7 p.m. and March 21st at 11 a.m. I'll be doing 2 different times and you'll get the replay. And we're really excited. We're going to start adding a lot more workshops and value based content for NNBA members as we expand the membership options. So I'm really excited for that. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for all your support. And I hope that you feel refreshed by the possibilities that are out there for nurses right now. It's really exciting time to be a nurse. I don't want it to be negative. I don't want it to be about hating our job or about being burnout or being spit out by corporate. That's not what it's about. It's about possibilities. It's about opportunities. It's about doing something that you never dreamed was possible. And that's what we're going to be talking about on the workshops.